Maya Chen had always been invisible in her own home. After her mother died when she was 8, her father Marcus Chen, a tech billionaire, married Victoria Sterling, a woman who saw Maya as nothing more than an obstacle to her perfect life. Victoria brought her own daughter, Sophia, into the family. While Sophia was showered with designer clothes, expensive cars, and private tutors, Maya was treated like a servant in her own father's mansion. "Maya, clean up this mess," Victoria would command, pointing to dishes that Sophia had left behind. "Your father works too hard to come home to a dirty house." Marcus was always traveling for business, and when he was home, Victoria made sure Maya was either at school or locked away in her room. She painted Maya as a problematic, ungrateful child who resented her new family. "Your daughter is so difficult," Victoria would tell Marcus. "She's jealous of Sophia's success and always causing problems." What Victoria didn't know was that Maya had been secretly meeting with her father's lawyer, David Park, who had been her mother's childhood friend. David had promised Maya's dying mother that he would protect her daughter, no matter what. "Your father has set up a trust fund for you," David had whispered to Maya during one of their secret meetings. "But it's hidden from Victoria. When you turn 25, you'll inherit 40% of his entire fortune." Maya's life became a nightmare when her father suddenly died in a car accident at age 49. At the funeral, while Maya cried for the father she barely got to know, Victoria was already planning her next move. "I'm sorry, Maya," Victoria said with fake sympathy the day after the funeral. "But your father left everything to me. There's no room for you in this house anymore." Sophia laughed cruelly. "Finally, I was tired of sharing my space with the charity case." They gave Maya one suitcase and $500, then changed all the locks. Maya found herself on the street, homeless and heartbroken, while Victoria and Sophia moved into the master bedroom and began spending her father's money on shopping sprees and luxury vacations. Maya rented a tiny apartment and worked 3 jobs, at a coffee shop as a tutor and doing freelance graphic design. She wore thrift store clothes and survived on instant noodles, while her stepfamily posted photos of their lavish lifestyle on social media. "Living my best life without the dead weight," Sophia posted on Instagram, showing off her new BMW. But Maya was playing a different game. She was studying business and finance, learning everything she could about her father's company, Chen Technologies. She discovered that Victoria had been slowly destroying the company through bad decisions and expensive mistakes. Victoria had fired all of Marcus's trusted employees and replaced them with her unqualified friends. She was selling off valuable assets to fund her lifestyle, not realizing that she was destroying the very source of her wealth. Maya also discovered something else. Victoria had been having an affair with Marcus's business rival, Richard Stone, even before Marcus died. They had been planning to merge Chen Technologies with Stone's company, effectively stealing everything Marcus had built. "Soon everything will be ours," Maya overheard Victoria telling Richard during one of their secret meetings. "That pathetic girl will never be a threat to us." But Maya's 25th birthday was approaching, and David Park had been busy preparing for the moment when she would inherit her true fortune. On the day she turned 25, Maya walked into David's office as a poor, struggling young woman and walked out as a billionaire. "Your father's hidden investments have grown significantly," David explained. "You now control 40% of Chen Technologies, plus several other companies he invested in secretly. You're worth over $3 billion. Maya's first move was to buy out all the smaller investors in Chen Technologies, giving her controlling interest in the company. Then she began buying up the debts that Victoria had accumulated, putting herself in a position to destroy everything. Victoria and Sophia had no idea that the mysterious MC Investments that was slowly taking over their lives was actually Maya. They thought it was just another faceless corporation buying up their debts. Maya's plan was perfect. She hired the best investigators and lawyers, gathering evidence of Victoria's mismanagement, her affair with Richard Stone, and most importantly, proof that Victoria had been slowly poisoning Marcus in the months before his death. The medical examiner had ruled Marcus's death an accident, but Maya's private investigators found evidence that Victoria had been putting small amounts of Digitalis, a heart medication that becomes deadly in large doses, in his food for months, weakening his heart until the stress of a business meeting caused the fatal heart attack. Maya also discovered that Victoria had forged several documents to hide assets from Maya, including her mother's jewelry and paintings that were legally supposed to go to Maya. The trap was set when Maya scheduled a board meeting for Chen Technologies. Victoria and Sophia arrived at the company headquarters, expecting to meet with investors about selling the company to Richard Stone. Instead, they found themselves facing Maya, sitting at the head of the conference table in a designer suit, surrounded by lawyers and investigators. "Hello, stepmother," Maya said calmly. "I think we need to talk." Victoria's face turned white. "Maya? What are you doing here? How did I afford this suit? How did I get into this boardroom? How did I manage to buy controlling interest in the company you've been destroying?" Maya smiled. "The same way I hired the private investigators who discovered your little secret about father's death." At that moment, FBI agents entered the room. "Victoria Sterling, you're under arrest for the murder of Marcus Chen, fraud, and embezzlement." As Victoria was led away in handcuffs, screaming that it was impossible, Maya turned to Sophia, who was crying and begging for mercy. "Please, Maya, I didn't know anything about what Mother did. I'm innocent." "Innocent?" Maya laughed. "You posted photos of yourself spending my father's money while I was homeless. You celebrated when I was thrown out of my own home. You're not innocent, Sophia. You're just weak." Maya's revenge was swift and complete. Victoria was sentenced to life in prison for murder. Sophia lost everything: her trust fund, her car, her credit cards, even her designer clothes, which were sold to pay back the debts Maya had called in. The mansion that had been Maya's childhood home was sold, and Maya donated the proceeds to charities that helped orphan children. Richard Stone's company collapsed when Maya exposed his involvement in the fraud. But Maya's greatest satisfaction came from transforming Chen Technologies into something her father would have been proud of. She created scholarship programs for underprivileged students, funded orphanages, and developed technology that helped other children who had lost their parents. "My father built this company to create opportunities," Maya said during her first press conference as CEO. "I'm going to make sure it creates opportunities for people like me, people who have been overlooked and underestimated." Maya also established the Marcus Chen Foundation, which provided legal aid to children who were being mistreated by step-parents or guardians. She wanted to make sure no other child would suffer the way she had. The media called her story the Phoenix Harris the woman who rose from the ashes of her family's betrayal to become one of the youngest female billionaires in the world. Victoria would spend the rest of her life in prison, knowing that the girl she had treated as a servant now controlled the fortune she had killed for. Sophia ended up working minimum wage jobs, living in the same kind of tiny apartment Maya had once occupied. I learned that the best revenge isn't just success, Maya said during her TED talk. It's using your success to make sure other people don't have to suffer the way you did. Maya never forgot where she came from. She kept a photo of her tiny apartment on her desk as a reminder of how far she had come and how important it was to help others who were struggling. The girl who had been kicked out with nothing had become the woman who controlled everything, and she used that power not just to destroy her enemies, but to build a better world for children who needed protection. In the end, Victoria's attempt to get rid of Maya had backfired spectacularly. By throwing Maya out, she had unknowingly set in motion the very plan that would destroy her and bring justice for Marcus Chen's murder. Maya had proven that sometimes the best revenge is simply becoming so successful that your enemies become cautionary tales about the dangers of underestimating people.